So we know how to sign a new user up now. And when they're signed up, they're automatically logged into the application. And we can see that user right here where we log it to the console. Now, we also need a way for a user to log out. Now, we don't need to create a whole component for this because usually if you want to log out of an application, you don't go to a logout page. You just have some kind of logout link in the header or something. So that's what we'll do. So first of all, let's go to the header component, or the navbar component rather, right there. And inside here, we need a link to log out. But before we do that, I just want to quickly update this link right here because now we actually have a page for the sign up. So instead of doing an anchor tag, what we'll be doing is using router links. So we'll get rid of those first of all. Then we'll place our router link tag in here. And that will be going to, and remember we need the colon for data binding, to, and the object inside here will have a name property. And the name of the route that we want to direct them to when they click this is the sign up route, like so. Okay, so now let's click that off and go over here and do the closing tag, router link. All right then. So before we do anything to do with logging out, let me just quickly test that. Let's go to sign up now and we see this component. Brilliant. All right, so that's working. Right, let's go back to the home page. Now we want to add in that link to log out. So let's go over here and do that. Underneath login, I'm going to do another li tag. And this time I'm going to do an anchor tag because like I said, we don't need to link to another page using a router link. All I'm going to do is essentially emulate a button here. So I'm going to do an anchor tag, but it's not going to have an href attribute. It's not going to go anywhere. All it's going to do is have a click event associated with it. And then that click event will fire a function which we can use to log the user out. So let's do that anchor tag, a, and then @click is going to be equal to some function or other, which we'll create in a second. And then inside here, we'll say logout and close off that anchor tag. All right, so that click event right here needs to fire a function which we'll call logout. So let's make that function down here inside a methods property. So logout. And inside this method, what will we be doing? Well, we'll be using the Firebase auth service to log the user out. So since we're using Firebase, we need to import that Firebase library in here. So import Firebase from Firebase. Okay, and then down here we can say firebase.auth. Remember, every time we do something to do with authentication, we always say firebase.auth first of all to get that authentication service. Then we use a method called sign out, and that is going to sign the user out. Now this is an asynchronous method, meaning it takes some time to complete and it returns a promise. So we can therefore tack on a .then method, which is going to fire a function when this completes. So this callback function will be where we can then do something when the user has signed out. Now, eventually what we will be doing when a user signs out is redirect them to the login page. Now, we don't have that login page just yet. So what we'll do is just redirect them to the sign up page for now and then change this later on. So we'll say this dot router, and remember that $sign before the router, dot push. This is how we redirect someone. We pass in an object here to say where we want to push them to, and the name of the component that we want to push them to, or the name of the route, is going to be sign up. Okay, so let's see if this works. We'll go over here and press logout now, and now it takes us to the sign up page. Now what I'll do is clear the console, and I'm going to go back to the home page over here, and you'll notice now we get null up here. This is because the user has signed out and we're trying to log the current user, right? So before, when we got that object from Firebase, now we're getting null because we've signed out. Awesome. So that's how simple it is to log a user out of your application. Now, the next thing we really need to do is log a user in. So we'll start to create the login component in the next video.